Welcome to the world of Ha!
Hi, I'm Hassan.
I'm Captain Sunrise. And I'm Nikki Embrace from Power Rangers Zeo Turbo and the Turbo Movie. Welcome to the world of Ha!
Ha! Hey everyone, Hassan here. Welcome to the world of Ha. What's up, what's up? Alright, give me 1 second here. I'm just going to tweet something out. Unboxing the Cosmic Fury Morpher and more. Okay. Alright, let's see. Deca Master Fan, hello. Tyler Connolly, Power Ranger Reviewer, Dylan Smith, Blood and Gore Kid, welcome, welcome, welcome. Big Dog Naruto, you are my childhood. Thank you. It's so weird to hear that sometimes. Like, that's crazy, but thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Well, we got some fun stuff going on. What do we got here? How do I... Oh, thank you, Joel. Beat me to it. I was trying to figure out... I had a... They have a weird thing now in OBS. Oh, there we go. I just moved it. Where, like, there's a little emoji thing they added in the chat button. So I was hovering over it, and it was just popping up to add emojis and stuff, but it wouldn't let me go to the settings, but I think I got it. But thank you, Joel. So shout out to Joel as well. Paul, what's up? What's up? How's it going? All right. So, today, the big thing, as the title has said, is the Power Rangers Cosmic Fury Morpher. But we might have a couple other things to open up today. We're just going to play it by ear, see what happens. Maybe some other Power Ranger stuff. Maybe some other things. We'll see. So, here it is. Ordered it from Amazon. And it's here. The Cosmic Fury Morpher. Or they call it the Cosmic... Is it the Cosmic Morpher or Cosmic Fury Morpher? It says both. It says both at the bottom. Cosmic Morpher, Cosmic Fury Morpher. So what is it called? I don't know. It's the Morpher from Cosmic Fury. So there it is right there. Edward Sanchez Productions, Captain Jake, what's up, what's up? Oh, Telan Gillespie, hello as well. Stark Family, hello, hello. All right. So yeah, so we're going to check this out. We're going to do an unboxing of this. Other things. Oh, I posted this on Twitter, but if you didn't see that, I'll show it here. Dude, when am I going back to reviews? Well, so Power Ranger Reviewer, this is my review. Like, I don't do a lot of pre-recorded videos anymore. So when you talk about, like, when's my review of, like, the Cosmic Fury Morpher? Right now, like today, I do them on my live streams. So if you want my reviews, check out my live streams, and all my live streams are saved as well. As far as pre-recorded videos, I don't do a lot of them anymore because the time investment and all that. There's got to be the right thing to make me want to do a pre-recorded video that would be worth the time, the editing, you know, all that kind of stuff that wouldn't be as interesting on a live stream, so to speak, or for various reasons, right? So I will say, even though I haven't done a recorded video in months, I actually did record a video I'm not going to say what it is, but what I will say is it's going to get posted on Wednesday. So keep an eye on the channel. There's going to be a video review of something coming out on Wednesday. I'm not going to say what it is. You'll just have to stay tuned to find out. All right. So yes, Cosmic Fury Morpher. What else do I have? I do have some other Pokemon card things. I don't know if I'm going to open this up today. I'm not sure. We'll see. But I did get some of the new Pokemon products. The Annihilate boxes, the new EX Battle decks. I just wanted to mention I got those. What else did I get? Let's check out the chat. Power Ranger Fan 3501. Trix. Hello, hello. Is that a blue Ninja Ranger on the desk next to you? Yes. It's on here because I need to remember that I have to contact Hasbro about it because it has 2 right fists. So this is another right fist. So they didn't give me a left fist. So I keep forgetting I have to contact Hasbro about it. So that's why it's been sitting on my desk there. And I know I got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of bulk Pokemon cards stacking up there. I got stuff to clean up, but Ranger West, hello, hello. Yes, I do have the Memorial Gokai Saber. The Gokai gun is in there somewhere as well, but yes, I do have that. I showed this off on a previous live stream as well, but yes, here it is right here in all its epicness, and here are the keys as well. Oh yeah, here's a really cool thing. So, do you guys know, have you heard about, have you heard of Robosen? So, Robosen, these guys make really, really cool products, and I mainly have known them from the Transformer stuff that they've done. So they did that Optimus Prime that transforms, and so they had a version of it, the flagship version, which is the one I bought, and then they later released a cheaper Elite version. So the flagship one is like, I want to say in the $800 to $1,000 range, that Optimus Prime. So it's like a premium thing. The Elite one, is it like $600, $700, something like that? Maybe. It's a little cheaper. It's the same thing, just a little smaller, basically. But it's an Optimus Prime that transforms, and it's so freaking cool. I've done a video on my channel about it. But I play with it all the time. My son loves it. And then I actually bought, I never showed this on camera, but maybe I'll show this eventually. They released a trailer. If you have the flagship Optimus, they have a massive trailer like this big that connects to Optimus, and the trailer transforms and becomes this like giant like battle station and everything. So it's super, super cool. So I've loved what they've done there. They actually recently released something which I personally was not planning to get, but they reached out and sent it to me for free, so sure, I'll take it. But this is their Bumblebee. So they actually released a new Transformer, Bumblebee, but it does not transform. So I know that was kind of the big feedback or big criticism a lot of people had of it, is like, well, you just did this whole transforming Optimus, why do I want a Bumblebee that doesn't transform, right? There's a couple factors. I mean, one, like, obviously, not every Transformer is going to be able to transform in a toy form as easily as you would think, right? It's kind of hard to do. But also, like, this is a cheaper product. And I say cheaper, meaning this is like $500, $600, something like that, I think. Versus, like, you know, the $800, $1,000, like the Optimus Prime that transforms, right? So it is cheaper, and it still does a bunch of cool stuff. So it won't transform, but it can still like talk and dance and do kicks and all sorts of stuff. It can walk around. So here it is right here. I've kind of opened it up already off camera, so I'll just show you all briefly. It's going to be a little hard to show, but this is it right here. So there's a whole app that you can use to control it, or you can use your voice. There's different things you can do. But shout out to Robosen, because they sent me this for free you know, to share on the channel and everything as well. So I just wanted to showcase this. But we'll get to the Power Ranger stuff in a second. But I just wanted to show this as well. So here we go. Yes, Tricks, I have both. I have the gun and saber. I don't think they're sold separately. I think it's
Hiya, friend.
together.
Bumblebee here.
So there's Bumblebee right there. Let's see.
How's it going?
Hello.
Hey, it's great to see you. What's your name?
Hi, Bumblebee.
How's it going?
Attack.
Ha! I was born battle ready.
So obviously, you can set this thing up on a table and it will actually, like, move around and do stuff. I just don't want it to fall off the table right here because it's a small table. What else can you do? Hi, Bumblebee.
How's it going?
Dance.
Hey, let's bust a move.
Like, look at this thing. That's pretty freaking cool, I gotta say. So I'm gonna turn this off.
See you later.
So yeah, anyways, it is very expensive. But not as expensive as the transforming, you know, Optimus Prime that they've done. So keep that in mind. But it's pretty cool. So if you're interested, you know, check that out. But just wanted to share that. Shout out to Robosen again for sending me that. If you want to see some videos of Bumblebee and the Optimus that I have, because there's a way through the app that Optimus and Bumblebee can, like, interact with each other a little bit. So if you want to see that, let me know. And then happy to, like, try and make a video or something on the channel to show that. Maybe I'll make, like, a YouTube short or something about it. I'll see. But let me know if you want to see more, because this thing is super, super cool. And Robosen's also been tweeting out. They're teasing some other stuff, an announcement. They put out a couple teaser pictures. There's one that's like this little, like, claw or something. And then one that's what looks to be a crown. And they're saying July 19th, which is Wednesday, there's supposed to be some announcement. So check that out. Not sure, you know. That's pretty much what's been shared. But July 19th, this Wednesday, Robosen's going to be making an announcement. So, yeah, super, super cool stuff. All right, let's check out the chat, see what y'all have to say. Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you, Joel, for clarifying. So they do sell the Gokai Saber and the Gun Memorial Edition separately as well as in a bundle. Got it. Okay, I bought the bundle, but I didn't know you could also get them separately. So that's good to know. Yes, there's a bunch of Pokemon cards in the back. It's all like bulk and stuff, commons, uncommons, things like that. But did I try out Wave 5 of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? I tried out the new course that's in, like, the bathroom or whatever. But that's it. That's the only course that I try. I haven't tried out the other tracks yet or anything. What else? What else? I was just about to ask if they could interact. That was impressive. Yeah, super, super cool, that Bumblebee. The Optimus, even more so. That thing is, like... It still blows my mind when I see it transform. Like, it just... It's a truck that drives around and then it... and becomes a robot. And the cool thing about it, by the way, is through the app, you can download additional actions, and they periodically will, at least for Optimus, we're releasing new actions. For Bumblebee, there's a couple, I think, that I downloaded, but I'm going to keep looking to see if there's more. So over time, there's more and more things. Like, now Optimus can do, like, this whole kung fu thing. He can do, like push-ups and stuff. Like, Optimus can do all sorts of crazy things. It's super, super cool. So yeah, definitely super cool. Dylan got the Zap Astro Megazord. Nice, nice. You love it. That's cool. I'm glad that you like it as well. Is that a Digivice by my second Pokemon cards? It is indeed. It is indeed. It's the Japanese version, the release of this, whatever the thing was called. I forget what the Japanese version's called, but you can kind of... Here, let me do it this way. Let's see. Evolution. Oh, did I not do it right? Oh, evolution. Spirit evolution, human, beast, double spirit evolution, hyper, ancient spirit evolution. Let's just do a spirit evolution, human. See, I watched the dub. So that's the only thing is I wish the dub stuff was in here, the dub sounds. But it's still pretty cool. It's all flashing and stuff too. A Goonimon, there we go. So yeah, anyways, since you mentioned it, I just figured I'd show it since it was right there. All right, here we go. Let's talk about Cosmic Fury. All right, let's take a look at that. Here is the Morpher for Power Rangers Cosmic Fury, which I believe we've heard starts in the fall. This is not the first Cosmic Fury toy that I've seen. My local Target actually has a pack that is the... So Zato is now the Zenith Ranger, so it's got a mask and a sword or some weapon for the Zenith Ranger, but it's like, you know, one of those kids' masks that's like super cheap and small, and the weapon is also very cheap and small, no light, sounds, anything. So I didn't buy that pack, but that is the first Cosmic Fury stuff I saw in stores. This, like I said, ordered online. Here it is. And I'm not planning on getting like everything necessarily for Cosmic Fury, but... And this is one I will say. The Morpher itself, I kind of dig the look of it, like in the show, in terms of what we've seen of the prop of it. Like that artwork there is sick. I love seeing Amelia, Red Ranger, the Morpher there. Like that actually looks really sick. I like it. The toy itself... You know, I mean, obviously, it's a kid's toy, but as an adult collector, it's not super appealing in terms of the look. It's very cheap looking. There's, like, no paint on it, right? But the lights and sounds, I saw, you know, some videos of others that had this, and that was appealing to me. And so for that reason, I wanted to get it as well. Apparently, this also reacts to sounds from Dino Fury, Cosmic Fury, stuff like that. So kind of interesting, all the features and things that it has. And I love the fact that, you know, we have Amelia as the Red Ranger, right? Female Red Ranger. And on the back, they actually have a girl here posing with the toy instead of a boy, you know, that we often see, especially for the main Morpher of the show. And she's wearing red just like Amelia. That's actually really, really cool. Yeah, there it is. Cosmic Fury Morpher. So, I know at first it doesn't look super cool, but watch. Let's push some buttons. Let's learn some stuff here. I think you'll hopefully start to see, at least what I see in this is actually kind of neat with the lights and sounds. So let's check it out. All right, so we got some instructions and stuff here, and then we have. Is this all tied up? Maybe it'll just be easier if I cut it. Okay. Did I get everything? So we'll do that. Yeah, I could always paint stuff, and I know some people do that. I've never really done it. I'm not really good at that kind of stuff, but also, I don't know, I kind of feel like that shouldn't really be something I have to do, you know? Yeah, I like to keep the toys as is in their original, like, condition, so to speak. What is this strap? Oh, do you have to put it in like this? And then put it on? Oh, wow. Okay, so this is definitely a very tight fit for a strap. This is, I feel like, smaller than what they've usually done. So, I mean, I know obviously it's geared towards kids, which it'll be fine for kids. But in the past, some of them actually would still fit, like, adult fans as well. This one, not as much. Alright. Well, here's the Morpher. So here's what it looks like. So this is very interesting because obviously it's continuing the dino theme. So you have kind of the dinosaur face. This is supposed to be what kind of is like a Q-Tama of sorts. I don't know if in the show it's going to be removable or not, but that's kind of reminiscent of that sort of design from Q Ranger because they're using those Zords. So very, very interesting style here. Super basic, but you got 3 buttons, and then this itself is also a button. But it doesn't like open, close, do anything that I can see at least. So it's very simple. So let's look at these instructions here. Okay, Cosmic Fury. Alright, so there's a few different things. Oh, actually something does open up. Wait, oh, this piece opens. Okay, interesting. I'm not sure what that does, but I guess we'll find out. Let's turn this on. Alright, it's on. So when you open it, alright, it makes a sound.
It's morphin' time!
Oh, okay. So you got the red there for Amelia. It's hard to see on my camera because it's so bright. I don't know if you can see this any better. No, that's like super bright. That's supposed to be red. It's really hard to tell because it's the camera's picking it up like so bright. But it doesn't look anywhere near as bright. Like it looks white on the camera, but it's red in person. I don't know how to show you the proper color. That's kind of... Hold on, I'm trying to see if there's something I can do to like show this better. So if I turn that off, is that better? No. What if I turn the brightness up? Maybe? Is that better? Worse? I don't think that really does anything. It's just the camera's gonna do it. Got this on Amazon. So yeah, it was on Amazon. Alright, so anyway, so that's what it does. You open it up, it changes like all the different colors. Again, kind of hard to see on your end. But it does that. So apparently you can push this to cycle through the colors. So now it's blue. Alright. Looks yellow. Or is that supposed to be green? No, it looks yellow to me. But wait, there's no yellow. Maybe that's supposed to be green. On the camera it looks very green. In person it looks yellow, but... Alright, that's purple. Oh man, the colors look so off. Man, it looks so different on camera. This is so this is so weird. How do I show you this? Hold up, I gotta figure this out because it looks so different. Is this gonna be any better? I don't think it is. Let me that's just, no, that's not gonna... Yeah, purple is black. Like, this is supposed to be purple right now. But you just can't see it. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. A dark shirt or something to place over it, right? I kind of have to, like, here, maybe I can do something like this. But even then, you still can't... Yeah, that's just not gonna work. I tried turning off the lights. Oh, wait, for a second you could kind of see it. Did you see it there for a second? It was purplish for like... No, it has to be like... I don't know. Alright, anyways. Then you have this like orangish color. In my thing it looks orange. I think this is supposed to be gold. Because then you have like a lighter orange color, which, spoiler alert, that sounds an awful lot like Fern. So yeah, Fern, Orange Ranger, Cosmic Fury. And then you have what's kind of like this purplish color, but I think it's supposed to be like the Zenith Ranger color for Zato. Because then it goes back to red. So it's like red, blue, green, purple for the Black Ranger. It's like supposed to be gold here. Orange. And whatever color the Zenith Ranger is supposed to be. So, anyways, very, very interesting. So let's try this out. So I did, here's red for Amelia.
It's morphin' time.
So that was Amelia right there. Alright, let's change it to blue for Ollie.
It's morphin' time.
There you go. Very clearly, like, use their voice clips, which is awesome. Alright, here's green for Izzy.
It's morphin' time.
Alright. Purple or black for Javi.
It's morphin' time.
Alright. Here's gold for Ion.
It's morphin' time.
Alright, here comes orange for Fern.
It's morphin' time.
And here's the Zenith Ranger for Zato.
It's morphin' time.
And back to red for Amelia.
It's morphin' time.
That's pretty cool. Doesn't appear to be any motion activation or anything like that. Now, there's 3 buttons. So you have this button here, the first button. I don't really know what that does, but that's... It does random sounds. So that's interesting. Alright. Then we have the middle button. So I guess that's supposed to be Amelia. Alright. And then you have the top one. So it like changes all the colors. So interesting, it just kind of cycles through the colors, different options, but let's see if we get different sound effects if I switch to another Ranger.
It's morphin' time.
Alright, so let's try the first button. Seems to be the same. The last button seems to be the same. So let's try the middle button now. Okay, so yeah, you get different sound effects now for each of the Rangers. So that's Ollie, alright. Here's Izzy.
It's morphin'.
Okay. Here's Javi. Alright. Here's Ion.
It's morphin' time.
Alright, let's go to Fern. There's Zato. And back to Amelia. Alright. So, I mean, that's it for that. Now, the other thing that you can apparently do is watch Cosmic Fury, Mighty Morphin, Dino Fury, and Mighty Morphin Once and Always. And it will do, like, play some sound or something. Now, I heard online that it might be from the theme song. So, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try the Dino Fury theme song. So, apparently you push this. I don't know if it's listening or how this works. Let me turn this on from start and then push this. Alright, let me play the Dino Fury theme song. Oh, there we go. Oh, do I push the button again? Oh, no. That was it. Oh, interesting. So, did you hear that? So, the way that it worked is I had to push the button while the theme song was going, and then it made an alarm sound because it detected the theme song, and it, like, it only did a snippet. It said Dino Fury like 3 times and ended instead of the theme song. So that's kind of weird sounding. I'm not going to lie. I wish it would actually do the whole thing. Let's just try it again. Let's see how this works again. So I'm playing the theme song. All right, let me push the button. And push it again. Maybe I have to turn it off and try it again. I'm trying to see if it'll recognize the song again. Oh, there we go. So, very interesting. I'm going to try this one more time with I'm going to try the Mighty Morphin theme song to see what happens. I haven't tried this before. Let's see what happens. Alright, hopefully I don't get copyright flagged or something here. I'm trying this out to see if this is going to work. Come on, Morpher. Can you detect it already? Let's see what's going to happen. Come on, Mighty Morphin is playing. Detect the theme song. So far, nothing. It's hard to tell if it's actually detecting anything or not. You know what I mean? I don't want to get, like, copyright flagged again, so I'm just going to stop it again. And let's try this one more time. So it says turn it on and then push the button, right? So let's push the button now and see what happens. Please don't get copyright flagged. It's not doing anything. I'm sure there's a better way to do it. I don't know. I'm just going to stop there. I don't want to mess anything up and get copyright flagged or something. But essentially, apparently it's supposed to detect some things, I guess, about it. So it's interesting, I guess, you know? But yeah, I mean, that's the Morpher. So I will say the sounds like, in terms of the music that it plays, is not anything super special, but I do really like the actual actors saying it's morphin time. Like, that alone is super, super cool. This whole, you know,
It's morphin' time.
like, that's really, really cool that they have that. Plus, the colors on the Morpher for each Ranger is also really, really nice. Yeah, and it's nice to get a little sneak peek at Fern being the Orange Ranger as well. So, just a little neat little thing that they did here. The Morpher itself doesn't look super great, but it's more for the lights and sounds, you know. But that is the Cosmic Fury Morpher right there. So, check that out. All right. What else? Let's see. I know Sailor Ranger, it's so nice to actually hear their actual voice clips, right? Instead of random stuff. Kiza Setters, hello. It's been so long. Hope you're doing well. Missed a lot. Just woken up 2:40 a.m. here in the UK. Oh my gosh. All right, what else we got? You know what? I think I have something else that could be cool to open. Oop, as I almost trip and fall. I think I have something pretty cool. Oops. Give me a second while I make sure everything doesn't just fall completely. Or rather, I should say, fix it from falling. I got another Power Rangers item that's been sitting here for a little while, and I think it's about time that I opened it up. So I've done a review of the Threezero 1/6 scale figures for Mighty Morphin, and they looked awesome. They're all really, really cool. I also got the Ranger Slayer, but I haven't opened her up yet. So why don't we open her up? So this is the Threezero Ranger Slayer. Super, super cool. These figures are awesome. I need to like figure out a proper way to display them on my shelf. But they are really, really cool. I did a whole review on these things. But of course, you know, they are going to be more expensive, right? They're kind of the equivalent to like the Hot Toys type figures, basically. But these are the official ones, because there are a couple other companies like Ace Toys and others that have been doing unofficial ones. But this is the official one from Threezero. Here it is, the Ranger Slayer. So, if you don't know who the Ranger Slayer is, by the way, if you're looking at this and you're like, what? Ranger Slayer? What does that mean? That means you haven't read the comics, the Power Rangers comics, which you need to do that because those comics are awesome. But in the comics, there's basically an alternate universe Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that's like, what if Tommy never turned good? Right, and what if he was evil and stayed evil? And so he becomes eventually this character called Lord Draken, who's like a combination of the Green and White Ranger. Looks super cool. But there's also then just like how there's a Sword of Darkness for Tommy when he was evil, there's a Bow of Darkness, and we have an evil Kimberly, and she is known as the Ranger Slayer. The comics there's so much involved there, and they are absolutely amazing. If you are not reading the comics, you are losing out on a lot of awesome Power Ranger stuff. And in fact, we know that Cosmic Fury is the last season of Power Rangers filmed in New Zealand and everything, and probably what appears to be, for now at least, the last season of the show, until whatever reboot or whatever thing eventually, maybe, hopefully, possibly happens. We don't really know too much. But essentially, it's seeming very, very clear that 2024, next year, there's probably not going to be a Power Ranger season. So the comics are going to be the Power Rangers thing happening next year. There's not going to be anything else. It's going to be quiet. So if you don't read the comics, next year you got no Power Rangers. So you're missing out on stuff if you don't read the comics. But anyways, here it is right here. Let's open this up. So you got a really cool image right there, and there is the Ranger Slayer. So let's take her out of the packaging. The tape. Yeah, the comics really do add so much to the brand. I mean, there's so many things that they touch on that the show didn't talk about. Like, hey, Jason, Zach, and Trini went off to a peace conference and then just disappeared. Well, what happened? Well, the comics are like, guess what? They didn't actually go to a peace conference. They became the Omega Rangers and went out into space. And the Omega Rangers look sick. Really cool designs. Which, by the way, they're going to be releasing Lightning Collection figures of the Omega Rangers. Some of the last Lightning Collection figures that are going to be released, possibly ever. So that's a whole thing. But I'm telling you, it's awesome stuff, and you definitely want to be reading it. All right, so here's a little thing here: Ranger Slayer helmet, a pauldron fabric outfit, utility belt, blah blah blah. So it comes with some alternate hands, blade blaster, bow of darkness, and an arrow. Lots of cool stuff. There it is right here. As someone who hasn't read a single comic, where do you recommend starting? I know there's a lot of them. I don't know where to get them now. So, as far as where to begin, the comics, for the most part, have been very much one main series. There's like other random little spin-offs and things, but those aren't really that important. The main thing is, it started with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Actually, you know what? How about this? Let's open up Ranger Slayer, and then let's talk comics after that, and I'm going to show you a couple things that might help. If you have not gotten into the comics, you want to know how to get started, we'll talk about that, and I'll share the best way to jump in, okay? We'll talk about that next. Alright, let me get her alternate hands out of here. These look pretty cool. I mean, you can already feel the quality and detail on these things. Pretty cool. Yeah, that's essentially what I'm going to say, Sailor Ranger, from the start, but I kind of want to explain it a little bit in more detail, but yeah, essentially, you're right. Oh no, her head. But look at that helmet. Look at the detail on this thing. This is nice and sharp, too. It's like very clean. You got the arrow. That is sharp. This is not for kids. Oh, you know, I never even realized actually that her blade blaster wasn't red. I guess that makes sense, considering her color scheme, but I never really paid attention to that. And here's the cool thing about this. It actually, like, converts. And I can do this, and I think even pull out the blade if I can. Yep. Look at that. Lightning Collection can't do that. That's pretty sick. Oh, and then back here. Ooh, that's huge. I was not expecting that. Look at that. The Bow of Darkness. Wow. The string, like that is big. That is really cool. And of course the figure itself. So let's get all this stuff off. is. So the cape is very interesting. It almost feels like a microfiber cloth, but a little bit more grippy, if that makes sense, in terms of the texture. And on the edges, there's like a wire. So there's a little wire that you can bend on the edge of the thing to kind of keep the overall structure in place. So I can sort of like, you know, pose it outwards a little or something. Like there's a little bit of flexibility there. Oh, I didn't even realize. That's interesting. So I think it's supposed to be the pterodactyl, but is the coin damaged? Oh no, or that's just the design of it. Never mind. I wasn't looking at the pterodactyl. I was looking at the other pieces beyond it. No, that's just a normal pterodactyl. She's got the symbol there. Very, very cool. So these figures are just insane. The cool thing about these, right, is they hide all the joints, right? So it's meant to look more natural as well, right? That's super, super cool. So let me put the helmet on and I'll show you. Oops. Gotta be careful because her helmet's kind of sharp. I don't want to poke my own finger here. It's actually a little tricky. Oof. Legitimately a little hard to do without poking yourself. Okay, I think I got it. Here she is. The Ranger Slayer. That is super, super cool. And just for comparison, that's the Bow of Darkness. That's huge. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really, really cool. So I will have to figure out, you know, the best way to display, because if I have the Mighty Morphin team, she's obviously going to look a little out of place there, so I might have to have her displayed separately, or I guess I got to figure out what I'm going to do with that. For now, I'm going to put her down over here. All right. Okay, you know what? Let's talk comics. All right, let me grab a couple things from the other room real quick, and we can talk comics. So I will be right back. All right, stay there. Be right back. Power Rangers comics. So the way that it works is Power Rangers comics started a few years back with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So you can look up and find Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And the comics essentially started, I believe, if I remember correctly, from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1 when Tommy joined the team. Like, right, you know, he was evil, he turned good, and he joined the team. That's when the comics start. And they kind of start filling in the gaps and then kind of go, you know, down the story there. There is eventually also another series called Go-Go Power Rangers. And that series takes place before Tommy joined the team. So it's kind of, you know, earlier days of the Mighty Morphin team, just the 5 of them. Eventually, there's a little bit of overlap across the 2 series, a little bit, and I don't want to like say too much without getting into spoilers and things, but Go-Go Power Rangers eventually ends. But it's so there's kind of those 2 series, right? So there's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Go-Go Power Rangers. Go-Go Power Rangers being kind of it takes place a little bit earlier in the timeline. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, eventually, it goes on for much longer. Like, Go-Go Power Rangers ended a while ago. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers has continued. Now, at one point, I forget what issue it was. Maybe it was issue 50 or something. Maybe somebody in the chat can tell me. At one point, they decided to split the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic into 2 other series. Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers. So basically, it split off where I kind of talked a little bit about the Omega Rangers, right? I talked about Zach, Jason, and Trini going off to a peace conference and becoming the Omega Rangers. So basically, there comes a point in that timeline, you know, when they are going to split off. And so Mighty Morphin Power Rangers then splits into 2 series. So you have Mighty Morphin, which follows the Mighty Morphin team on Earth, as we know, right? With Aisha, and it's got, basically it starts, right, you know, when they've joined the team, and it's kind of, they're new and just understanding their role in the team, whereas, you know, Kimberly, Tommy, Billy, they've all been there for a while, so it's basically Aisha, Adam, and Rocky. And then so Power Rangers is basically the Omega Rangers out in space. So it's 2 separate series. But the interesting thing is it really isn't 2 separate series. So it is in name, but I like, for example, let's say Mighty Morphin Power Rangers ended with issue 50. Or not ended, but like after issue 50 it'll split up. I don't remember the exact number. So let's say then they have Mighty Morphin #1 and Power Rangers #1. But Mighty Morphin #1 is basically like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 51. And Power Rangers #1 is basically like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 52. And 53, number 50. It's basically the same series. They just are now focusing on 2 different teams separately. And they kind of... one issue's labeled Mighty Morphin and one issue's labeled Power Rangers. Eventually, the 2 teams and everything intertwines back together, and now we're back to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So that's why I say it's still one series. It just, for a little while, in name, kind of split off into Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers. But it still technically was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series. So if you were to read the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series from start to finish, you're going to get everything except the Go-Go Power Rangers. Go-Go Power Rangers is a separate, related, but separate series altogether. But Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is the main comic. There's only been one other, you know, that it's like the one main comic series this whole time. So even though it splits into Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers, it then comes back together. So it's still Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So hopefully that makes sense in terms of the series. Now, there's a few little spin-offs like Power Rangers Unlimited and different things that they've done. You know, you can read those here and there, and when something comes up in the story, it might reference as seen in, you know, this thing, and then you know, oh, okay, now I need to read the other book or something. So there's a couple, like, you know, random spin-offs that are like an extended issue or a couple issues as like a mini-series or something, but there's only a couple of those. The main series is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but Go-Go Power Rangers, even though it's a separate series, there is relation between the 2 without getting into spoilers, and I would definitely encourage reading Go-Go Power Rangers as well. So how do you do that, right? And when and why and how, you know, do these series come together, right? So what I'll say about Go-Go and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, like, if you don't know which to read first, read Mighty Morphin Power Rangers first, okay? And when you get to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, you'll get up to a part of the series which is the Shattered Grid event. That's a good starting point to then read Go-Go Power Rangers up to the Shattered Grid event, because the two intertwine for the Shattered Grid event. So the way that comics work is there's a lot of like story arcs, just like you watch in TV shows, right? Like you have like, here's the story arc of, well, I guess Power Rangers isn't great with story arcs on the TV show. But for example, like a Green with Evil, it was a 5-part thing, but imagine that as like a big story or something, right? Or like, for example, you could say, I don't know, I'm struggling to come up with a good example from the show, because the show's not good with story arcs. But basically, you have like story arcs, and so the first part of it, there's not really a name, I don't think, for the first part, but then there's a story arc called Shattered Grid, which is like, as long as you start reading all the issues one by one, you're going to get through all the story arcs. It's just like a good way to divide it up. Like they call issue number X to X or whatever, A to B this is Shattered Grid. Then C to D is Beyond the Grid. Then E to F is Necessary Evil or whatever it is. There's different names for these story arcs. So when you hear people talk about Beyond the Grid, Shattered Grid, Necessary Evil, what's the current one called again? The darkest hour, the darkest something is the current story arc. It's just basically a way to group some of the issues together to say, this is the current story that's being told, and then it'll wrap up and there'll be a new story arc, that sort of thing. So how do you read it, right? So there's a couple different ways. So they've released, there's single issues, which is going to be very difficult to track down and try and do, but they group the issues together into these trades, like these paperback copies of 5 or 6 issues or however many issues in a book. So those are the what are they called? Let me find. There's a name for them. Power Rangers. Oh, they're just volumes. Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. So that's easy. So, for example, I can go to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Volume 1 on Amazon. And that has issues number... Does it say? I don't know how many issues it has. But let's just say, for the sake of it, issues 1 through 6, right? And then Volume 2 would be 7 through 12, or that sort of thing, right? So the volumes are probably the most accessible, cheapest way at this point to go back and read the series. A lot of libraries may carry the volumes. And some, through apps online like Hoopla, I think it is, you can actually get digital copies that you can check out of these comics as well. So you may not even have to physically go anywhere. You could just download an app, make sure you connect to your local library, and you can probably read these comics for free right now on your devices. So that's already very, very accessible. The other way of doing it is the hardcovers. So the hardcovers are like, imagine multiple volumes together into a bigger collection. So one hardcover might be like 20 issues instead of like 5 or 6 or something like that, right? So they're much larger collections. They're in hardcover instead of like paperback, and they are much more expensive and also harder to get. Especially the earlier hardcovers are like sold out everywhere. So if you're trying to go back and read things, I definitely recommend the volumes. The volumes do come out more quickly than the hardcovers as well. There's still a delay between the issues. Like an issue comes out, you're going to have to wait months for the volumes, and then months again for the hardcover. So, in terms of reading it, the most accessible is probably the volumes until you catch up, and then maybe you get some single issues or whatever. But that's kind of the structure I'd recommend. So I personally, I used to get the single issues. I used to, and I still have all of mine up to a certain point, and then I just stopped. In terms of physical copies, digitally I buy the single issues just so I can read them as soon as they release. Which, by the way, again, that's another option. A lot of, like, all the issues are available online, like the Comixology app and stuff. Obviously, it'd probably cost a lot to go back and buy them, so that's where I'd recommend going to your local library and trying to check out the volumes from there, and then maybe buying some issues to catch up or whatever if you want. But this is the hardcover. This is an example of the hardcover. So the first one was, they called it Year 1. So it was like everything from the first year of the comic. And that's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, as you can see. Right? So this is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series. It's all in here. All the comics and stuff right there. Then they did Year 2. Which, by the way, they do some Kickstarters sometimes. And the Kickstarters that they do sometimes have the older hardcovers on them. So if you want to go back and get some, that is another way to do it. It is very expensive, though, if you're going to buy all of that. So keep that in mind again. But Year 2. Then after that is Shattered Grid. Which is just the next set of issues, basically. But the cool thing about this is it actually has some issues of Go-Go Power Rangers in here that are related. Like, it kind of interspersed it into Mighty Morphin so that you have Shattered Grid. After Shattered Grid was Beyond the Grid. So here's the Beyond the Grid. Here's the Ranger Slayer right here. But this was the next story arc. Then there was Necessary Evil. So this was actually split up into 2 parts. So here's Necessary Evil Part 1 for the hardcovers. I have Necessary Evil Part 2 with the Omega Rangers. I think Necessary Evil is where the comics split up, if I remember correctly. I don't know if it says in here anywhere. But I think this is where it's split up into Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers, I think. But that's that one right there. And then the Go-Go Power Ranger stuff that I talked about, they released separate hardcovers for the Go-Go Power Rangers series. So here's Go-Go Power Rangers Book 1. And then here is Go-Go Power Rangers Book 2. Right here. There's more that they're going to be releasing. Here's one of the spin-off things that they did. Power Rangers Universe. Right here. This has a couple different, things in here, but Power Rangers Universe hardcover. It's like a smaller thing, as you can see. So those are like the hardcovers and stuff that I got. So hopefully that helps. I just wanted to kind of share that overall structure. But here, give me 1 second. I just got to check on something real quick. I will be right back, everyone. All right? Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I had to check on something. Okay. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what it is for the comics. Any other questions about the comics or anything? The thing is, like, I don't read comics in general, to be honest. They've always been kind of interesting to me, but it's always been so daunting. Like, when you talk about, like, Marvel, DC, all that, like, I know they always sort of, like, start over with, like, a new #1, but it isn't truly starting over, right? Like, it's still kind of continuing on from stuff. So it's just very daunting to me. to get into some of that stuff. Power Rangers is like, oh, I know Power Rangers, right? Like, I know the lore, I know the story. So to start with it and go through it, like, it's much more accessible for me personally, obviously, and then keeping up with it from the start has been nice as well. All right, let's see. Galaxy says next Common Writer is going to be card-based with booster boxes. Sounds up your alley if you want to check it out when it comes out in August. That's cool. I heard that it was going to be card-based, but I didn't know there's going to be actual, like, booster boxes and things like that to try and collect. So there's, like, a whole collectible card thing to it. That's interesting. I potentially will look into it. I don't know how much I want to get into Common Writer and stuff. There's just a lot of stuff to get into, and I gotta, like, you know, focus my time and energy into things. But if there ever was something to get into with Common Writer, that sounds right up my alley. You're right. So I will definitely look into that. Yeah, Joel, I'm with you. I'm, in general, like I said, I'm not super big into comics, but Power Rangers, for me, has been different. There's you know, and there's something about, like, already kind of knowing some of these characters, but then going into this where the comics really flesh them out so much more, and I feel like it adds other layers, even back to the show. When I go back and watch the show now, I have different appreciations for certain characters and things because of stuff that was in the comics, even though technically they're not, like, you know, in the continuity of the show, but still, you know, like, it still feels like there's some, you know, relation there as well, which is cool. What else? I could also, I don't know. Now I'm, like, debating. Do I open up some Pokemon cards? Nah. I'm gonna save some stuff sealed. I bought a few things. These Ultra Beast GX collections and a bunch of Galarian Rapidash boxes that have, like, Evolving Skies packs and stuff. But I think I'm going to save those sealed for now. Yeah. I did buy up the rest of the singles that I needed for Paldea Evolved from TCG Player, but it might take a couple weeks for it all to come in. So then I'll have completed my binder, but just gotta wait for all that stuff to come in. What else? Yeah, I figured this is just kind of just chatting time. Let me go back and see if I missed any questions. Oh, Galaxy said, have I read Naruto and have I ever had a dog? Both random questions. So for the dog, no. The only pet that we've ever had, we had a couple goldfish for a brief while. They didn't last very long. So we had a few goldfish, and then we had a couple Quaker parrots who both had passed away, but had two Quaker parrots. So that is it, though. No other pets, and no plans for any other pets as well. Oh, Joel, your question before. Isn't Amy Jo Johnson also writing MMPR comic with Boom Studios? Is that a different series? Yes. It is a different series. Amy Jo Johnson's thing is like it's her own version of what the 30th anniversary thing would be through, it's like an alternate take on stuff. So I forget the exact details of what they've announced about it, but it is its own side thing. Time Force one called Sins of the Future. Is that a single comic or a series? That is a single comic. So they've had a couple comics that are like almost like graphic novel size, like kind of like an extended issue in a way. So Sins of the Future is one, and it's a sequel to Time Force, kind of bridging the gap with Hyperforce in a way. But it's a sequel to Time Force. Then there's one that was Soul of the Dragon. So by the way, all of the comics are technically not in continuity to the show. Meaning, like, they will fill in the gaps of certain things in the show, but then they've kind of added in so many other things that they really have gone different directions than the show ever did. So they're sort of their own thing now. And like, for example, like, even when they first started, like, they all have, like, cell phones and stuff. So it's like a modern retelling of Mighty Morphin. But the original story of how it all started with Mighty Morphin, how they became Rangers and all that, Day of the Dumpster, like, is exactly the same. They just have cell phones and stuff, you know. And then as time went on, it started to diverge more and more. But the main key points, you know, still happen. Like, you still have Jason, Trini, Zach leave, and Adam, Rocky, and Aisha come, right? Like, there's certain things that still continue to happen. But there's one, like, graphic novel thing they did called Soul of the Dragon, and that was the only one, I believe, that was touted as canon or in continuity with the show. Now, I don't know truly how true that is, like, if they actually, like, the folks making the show have always kind of, like, pretended like the comics don't exist. So Soul of the Dragon was kind of marketed that way, but ultimately, is it truly or not? I don't know. The one thing I will say, without spoiling what happens in it, is they do introduce JJ in Soul of the Dragon. And that happened before Dimensions in Danger, where they mention JJ in the show. So, you know, overlap, right? There's relation there as well. Oh, so, okay, I didn't answer Galaxy's question about Naruto. And he's also asking, in general, have I read any manga or watched any anime? So yes, I don't really nowadays do it, and just because of time, but, so, especially back in high school, I did some. So I did read a little bit of Naruto. I did watch the show. I watched all of the main show. Except I skipped some filler stuff. But I watched the main show. What else have I read? I used to get some issues of the Shonen Jump magazine, so I would read random stuff from there. But I would read some stuff, like a little bit of, what was it, Hikaru no Go? What else? I'm blanking on that. There's one or two other, like, things, but it was not much as far as what I read. And anime-wise, aside from, like, Pokemon, Digimon, like, that kind of stuff, didn't watch too much anime. Like, I never watched One Piece or anything like that, or, like, Bleach or Attack on Titan, any of those things. Haven't seen any of those. Yeah, not too much. Naruto was probably the main one, I would say. Joel, yes, this is all official. Yeah, this is all, it was Saban Brands, and then Hasbro bought it and they continued it. So this is all official from Hasbro. Yes. Yeah, all of this is officially licensed. Hasbro has to approve and kind of... So Melissa Flores, when she worked for Saban Brands and then Hasbro, she actually was, like, consulting or kind of a part of the team that had to review the comics and give feedback and stuff from the brand perspective. So Boom Studios, you know, had a writer. So they had Kyle Higgins, they had Ryan Parrott, they've had a few writers on the comics, and Melissa Flores and team, you know, others as well at Saban and Hasbro, would review the comics and kind of, you know, give feedback and kind of do that sort of thing. Now, fast forward many years later, obviously Melissa Flores has left, you know, Power Rangers. They needed a new writer, and now Melissa Flores is actually the current writer of the comics. So she used to work for Saban Brands Hasbro, left, and she was there when the comic started, has all this knowledge about it, and is now writing for the comics, which is really cool to see that evolution. A lot of my knowledge about the comics, by the way, comes from the Ranger Danger podcast. So they would do what they call the Boom Room. So like special episodes of their podcast where they would talk with the writers of the comics, and they would like, you know, talk about, it's almost like you're talking about an episode of a show, but they're talking about the comic, explaining what, you know, what this means and that, and but also going behind the scenes a little bit on like how the comics were created. And I learned so much about it. In fact, if you have the time, I would actually recommend reading the comics and then going to the Ranger Danger podcast and listening to the Boom Room that corresponds to the comic. So for example, they do like, you know, Boom Room for issue number 20, right? So read issue number 20, listen to the Boom Room for episode 20. Read issue 21, listen to the Boom Room for episode 21, right? Or comic issue number 21. I learned so much, and there's a lot that, like, being that I don't really regularly read comics, I would miss things all the time, or I didn't realize, like, there's so much, like, the way that things are drawn or colored a certain way, like they're meant to like hint at things or provoke certain emotions, or the way that they, like, you know, put like certain things is like on a full page image, a full page spread, versus like you know, 10 different pictures in one panel. They're done for different reasons to, like, you know, tell different story purposes in the form of comics. And I just didn't fully understand all of that until I listened to the Boom Room. So I feel like there's so much more that I took away from it, and I felt more invested in the comic series from listening to the Boom Room. The cool thing as well is from doing the Boom Room, so Michael and Matt, who do the Ranger Danger podcast, they interviewed Kyle Higgins and Ryan Parrott, who are the writers, and they're talking with them, and they eventually became friends and developed these professional relationships with them, so much so that they eventually have done some writing for the Power Rangers comics. In fact, after Ryan Parrott left, Matt, who's one of the co-hosts from the Ranger Danger podcast, wrote a couple issues of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comics. He was the writer, and then it got passed to Melissa Flores. So it was cool to have been listening to them for years, going from just they're doing this podcast about it to then becoming the writer of the official Power Rangers comics for a couple issues. So it's just another cool little thing. If you have the time, it's worth listening to. And these guys they're hilarious. They're smart. It's that podcast in general is great to listen to. Gerardo's favorite Ranger exclusive to the comics. Gosh. That's tough. I mean, there's been a bunch, right? I guess I would say Lord Draken. It's just a good design. It's just classic. But the Omega Rangers are real clean too. I do like the Omega Rangers. Yeah, there's some good stuff. There's some good designs. Yeah, for sure. Melissa, she's done a lot for the franchise, and it's cool to see, you know, where she's at now, coming sort of full circle. Yeah, what else? I'm trying to think if I have anything else to show. I don't think so. Like I said, my next video review of something will be posted on Wednesday. Not gonna say what it is at this point, but I'm excited to share the video, so definitely check that out on Wednesday. Oh, take care, Sailor Ranger. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, anything else you guys want me to talk about? This is going to be just more of a chill stream to just chat. Unless nobody else wants to say anything, and then I might, end it. But Lightning Collection. Yeah, no, that's a good one, Joel. Okay, so essentially, for those that don't know, first of all, go watch the video from Josh, aka Living Ranger Key on Twitter, aka Toku Topics on YouTube with the Lightning Storm series. Okay, before I get into that, Mr. H, how's it going? Yes, this is a Lego Pac-Man box right here. This is a new Lego set that they released. It's like an actual like Pac-Man arcade machine. It's super cool. So I had to get it. I gotta build this soon. I don't get a lot of those sets, but I got like all the Lego Mario ones, like the NES and the question mark block and all that stuff. This one was just too good. I had to get that. Yeah. So Lightning Collection for Power Rangers. So this is the 6-inch, action figure collector line. So check out the latest video from Toku Topics from Lightning Storm, kind of talking all about it, giving the full details. But essentially, what it comes down to is the Lightning Collection for Power Rangers is essentially going to be going on a hiatus, potentially ending, winding down, pausing, something like that. Like in terms of the upcoming releases, things that are out there from the sources of information that he has and the retailer listings and all that, there's only a handful of things left, like the Omega Ranger set, a few other things coming out, but otherwise it's basically like 2024. It's winding down. There's not really much there. Now, that could mean that it's over for good. That could mean they're kind of just pausing for a bit and reevaluating things and maybe then going to bring it back. We don't really know, but essentially, for all intents and purposes, it's on a hiatus, maybe permanent hiatus, but it's kind of wrapping up for the time being. So that it sucks, right? Because we don't have the whole idea behind the line was to collect all the Power Rangers, all the teams of Rangers, and they have not done that, right? There's a few teams that they just started that we only have one or two Rangers from that we don't have the whole team, right? And so that will suck to not have complete sets. At the same time, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by it. I mean, you've had increased costs of all the figures, and that's been across the board for a lot of the Hasbro, figures and stuff, but costs have gone up, so they're more expensive. For a while, the Lightning Collection has been plagued with quality control issues. Paint splotches all over. You have things, not painted correctly in general. You have incorrect little design elements, like the Galaxy Glider for In Space. Some of them had a little X. Some had the little, triangle thing, which is correct instead of, but some had an X on it, instead, like a different symbol. It's just, and then you have people like I got my, this Ninja Blue one that has two right fists. So I don't have a left fist, right? So it's different quality control issues that have been happening to where there's been some people that used to collect every figure that have said, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to collect certain ones that I want. And they've gotten frustrated at having to contact Hasbro and try and get replacements. And sometimes Hasbro hasn't given exact replacements, right? So they've just sent some other random figure. So there's been all these issues with the line as well. It's been hard to get some releases because some waves will release, at your Target and everything and Walmart, and they'll just sit there and then eventually go to clearance because there's not as much demand for certain figures and things as well. And then again, prices have gone up. All these things have kind of compounded the issue. So it's been a bit of a rough time for this line. So, I'll be honest, say that I'm not super surprised. Couple that with the fact that, this year being the 30th anniversary of the show was big, and you have the new season Cosmic Fury coming. But next year, all signs are pointing to no season of Power Rangers next year, right? There's that supposed reboot from Jonathan Entwistle and team that's in the works, but who knows what's going on with that, and certainly it's not coming next year, right? So, and then there's obviously now the writer strike and actor strike. There's all the strikes happening too, which is going to halt any other productions from happening. So, if there's no show and no other things to promote alongside it, I mean, you could release toys of older series and things, but without having the brand out there as much, toys aren't going to sell as much, even though they're not related necessarily in the sense of like, it's not figures of the current season. It's just other figures from other teams across the franchise, but it's still, if you don't have the brand out there, if there's no active series going on, people aren't going to be as invested or interested in the brand at the time, right? So it kind of makes sense in a way. My perspective is this. I think Power Rangers needs a break. I really do. It sucks in terms of the toy line and not being able to finish all the teams and all that stuff, but I really feel like it needs to take a little breather and reevaluate what it is as a franchise, right? And I think give it a couple years, and I think it could come back in a big way if done right. Or it could just flop and then the series just kind of dies out, which has happened in the past, and then eventually somebody else bought it or something, and then it kind of came back alive, right? So either way could happen, but you have this new supposed reboot that they've been trying to work on, right? So let the current series die out. We know that they're moving production out of New Zealand, like it's done, so they're not going to be filming New Zealand anymore, so even whatever reboot they do would be done elsewhere. So you're starting fresh already in that sense. The toy line and stuff, like let's just put it all on pause, do all that. Give it a couple years, 2025, 2026, whatever. Come back with a brand new show, right? And in my mind, I actually think there could be multiple shows where you could have a brand new rebooted series geared towards a slightly older audience. I'm not talking like really old, but a slightly older audience. Think of like the audience for the 2017 movie, or like the Transformers live action movies, or the MCU and stuff, like a little bit older, like that. Coupled with maybe an animated show for younger kids, right? So now you have multimedia approaches right there, and come back strong in some of those areas, and then bring back up the toy line to go with it. Maybe it's a Lightning Collection brought back, or just a whole new thing or whatever, but like relaunch everything with a full-scale planned approach, right? Versus like for example, Cosmic Fury is kind of like, oh shoot, we need a little bit more to kind of extend things out. We got another year here in New Zealand. Let's just add another 10 episodes, bring back the same cast, create some new suits, just kind of, create a new little thing there. But they're squeezing out a couple toys here and there, but it's really like there's not much left to it. Now, I'm excited about Cosmic Fury, don't get me wrong, but at some point they need to like pause and just reevaluate things and kind of start fresh, right? Because you look at other franchises like Transformers, there's multiple shows, right, that they've done, right? There's animated series, there's the live action movies, there's all these things that have captured a much wider audience. I mean, you could argue the quality, of the movies and things, but they make a lot of money. Like they've captured a wide audience, right? You look at things like the Marvel properties, right? Like you have like Spider-Man shows for various audiences, like the young kids, Spidey and Friends stuff, and then the older shows, you have the MCU and stuff, right? Like there's franchises that have been able to successfully appeal to different age ranges with different approaches in various forms of media, right? Power Rangers hasn't figured out its identity in that space. And I think the Lightning Collection is kind of similar in that regard, right? They're trying to gear it towards collectors as well, but they're raising costs and cutting back on the quality of some of the products and things too. So it's kind of losing trust in that audience, and it's too expensive for just kids to just be buying some of these products. So it's like, it's kind of in this weird middle ground that it doesn't appeal to anyone in its current form with the issues and challenges that it had. So I just think there's just a lot going on that it needs to just, it makes sense to me why it's happening. And, you know, I think everything just needs to be on pause for a bit, and then hopefully, you know, we can revisit it. But, you know, I don't know. That's kind of where, you know, what I feel like. Just my thoughts on it. What's up, Jaden? How's it going? Panther Ranger says, do I plan to go to Morphicon next year in 2024? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. I don't really have any plans this year for sure for any conventions. Next year's maybe. But again, for something like Morphicon, it also is like, what's going to be going on with the franchise? Like, are a lot of my friends even going to be going? Because if they're not, there's no point in me going, you know, like, is it going to be worth, like in the past, for example, I mean, it would be cool to go and meet up with friends, but I also had like a media badge, and I would like film stuff and do a vlog and then see the reveals and stuff that would happen. So if there isn't a lot going on with the franchise, maybe that's not worth it as much at the time, right? So I kind of have to reevaluate, or like, not reevaluate, but just evaluate those things to see if it's worth the time and money. You know, that's just something to kind of factor in. But yeah, that's where we're at. But we will have comics, though. I think my understanding, what I heard is the Boom Studios license and stuff with the franchise still runs for another year and a half at least, and then they could always renew it and continue more from there. But we should expect more Power Rangers comics in 2024. Yeah, so that's going to be our main thing for the franchise next year. What do I mean by media badge? Oh, so a lot of conventions and things, you can apply for like a media or press badge. So what that means is you get access to the event. Sometimes you can go in earlier, potentially. You get to like, you can set up interviews with people. You can record, you know, different things. So it's like, just, you know, like if you're press or media, like you're part of you're there to document and share things, or maybe write up articles about it or something. So, for example, if you have a YouTube channel, a podcast, a news site or something, that's usually what the purpose of that is for. You have to apply, explain what you're going to do, the reason behind it, you know, and try and get approvals. And so that's what I've done in the past for Power Morphicon, is I've gotten, I applied for the press badges and stuff and got approved there. But yeah. Yeah, ultimately with Morphicon, what it just comes down to is, are a bunch of my friends going? I mean, some of them were in the past one as well. That was, you know, and obviously it comes into time, money, all that too. But if all that worked out, it's, are my friends going? You know, if they're not, then, you know, I'm sure I can meet people and see people there, but it just wouldn't be as, like, that's one of the best parts about the experience, right? There's also like Ranger Stop and stuff, so that's, you know, the East Coast, but down south, so that's an option potentially. You know, there's different ones, you know, different conventions. So I don't know, it's just different now, again, being a father and a husband, all that, like trying to, like, you know, it's like, do I do that, or do I do a trip or something with the family, right? And Maheen's still in school and stuff too, so it's you know, of course that takes priority as well, and so yeah, there's a lot of factors to it. So we'll see. We'll see. Are there any conventions in my area? Yeah, and so I've been to some. So like locally, there's some small conventions like what's the one I went to? The Big Lick Comic Con, the Fairfax Comic Con. There's a couple of them. Actually, there's another one. Is there one coming up in a couple months or something? I think I saw. Let me see. Was it in August? August 26th is the next one. So end of August. Fairfax Comic Con. It's a small thing, so I'll probably go to that again if I can. Then in DC, there's a larger convention called Awesome Con. So we did go to that as well. So I went with Maheen and Reese. I actually met Amy Jo Johnson, which was not worth it. But yeah, I mean, you know, so there are conventions around as well. You know, it just depends. Christian, hello. How are you and your family doing? Been a while since I watched the live stream. Just finished watching Power Rangers Zeo, Next Turbo. What about you and wife? Well, thank you so much. We are doing well. Yeah, actually tomorrow, in about like just over an hour, is Maheen's birthday. So happy birthday to her. I have to actually wrap up her stuff, so I'm probably gonna wrap up this live stream in a few minutes so I can make sure I wrap up her gifts. They're sitting right here. Yeah, and yeah, we've been doing well. Just been busy. Just kind of hanging out, spending time with the family. So Maheen and I took Idris to Chuck E. Cheese today for the first time. That was interesting. Yeah. How was Idris at the convention? Well, at first he was good. At first he was, you know, enjoying, kind of looking around, kind of taking it all in. And then at the end, he had one of the biggest meltdowns he's ever had. I think he was just very tired. And the thing is, it's not like we can go put him to bed. You know what I mean? Like he has a whole routine with it. And it takes us like 2 hours to get back home through the metro and all that stuff. It was rough. And he was hungry, I'm sure, too. We tried to order food. Just took a long time in line because it was packed. It was, we ended up having to, like, leave the convention center with him, like, crying and throwing a tantrum. And then eventually he calmed down once we got to the metro. And then we ate some lunch. And it was rough. It was rough. And I think part of it, to be honest, was he's a 2-year-old. He doesn't have patience and stuff. So when we're waiting in lines, like we only waited in 2 lines. One was for Amy Jo Johnson, which he was getting a little restless, but what we did is we let him run around a lot. So I think he was mostly fine there, but I think that did get him tired. So then when it came time to, all right, after that, let's get lunch. There was a long line for lunch, and he just could not handle it anymore because he was tired from running and all that stuff. And I think that was just didn't work out timing wise. So we tried, you know, he had fun for part of it at least. Jaden says, do I think Hero Majors and Kaiju Dawn Brothers King Ojo will be adapted as future seasons? No, I think the adaptations are done. There's no more adaptations. Like after Cosmic Fury, it's done. The show's done. If they do that reboot, I don't think that's going to be using any Sentai. That's going to be its own thing. I think we're done with the adaptations, folks, for Power Rangers. Unless something drastically changes in the next few years, I think we're done with adaptations. Oh, that's cool. Rose will be there. That's cool, Joel. Idris is like 2.5. He's like 2.5 now. Yeah. All right. Well, I think with that, I'm going to start to wrap things up. But thank you all for hanging out again. And yeah, definitely. It's been fun just kind of chatting and also checking out the Cosmic Fury Morpher and all that. I don't know when my next live stream is going to be. I'll have to kind of figure that out when I'm going to plan the next one. But I will, as I said, I'm going to have a video review on my channel of something posted on Wednesday. I'm not going to say what it is, but something is going to get posted on Wednesday that I'm very excited about. So definitely check that out. It's been a while since I've done a video review, so please go show it some love. That would really mean a lot to me. And yeah, thank you all as always. Take care and talk soon. See you later.